If you don't know who Creed Bratton is, Creed, probably a lot of people know you from The Office, obviously, as playing an altered version of yourself. Is that fair to say? I never figure out how
They
much is true and how much
people.
is.
I'm not really sure. They always say I play myself, but I don't even know who I am, so I don't know how I could play myself. It's obscure. I do talk of myself in the third person because he was a character. I'm an actor playing a character.
Right.
Now he's vaguely sketched out on what would happen if Creed Bratton, the rock star from the Grassroots, continued his wicked ways and ended up in a dumpster out in Scranton and got hired. That was basically the premise. I wrote the thing. I wrote the character.
Yeah,
Submitted to
that's
Greg Daniels. Yeah,
that.
which is an unprecedented thing to do.
Yeah, great. That's a great story. And so The Office at first wasn't really doing well. I don't think, from what I read, the studio didn't believe in it. But one of the
We're going to
things,
cancel it. Yeah.
yeah, one of the things was you kind of formed. Didn't have lines at first. You were kind of in the background, but then you made this pitch and you made it like a short video and presented it to
Right.
the producers. And that's how they let you have some time, right? I mean, you just threw it out there. You said, "I'll take this chance. Let's do this."
I had Mike. I had that little intuition voice that I tell actors all the time. Trust it. Trust your gut because it won't steer you wrong if you've done the work. That means you can't just go get stuff because your little intuition says to. But if you work through the years, when I didn't been in class, I was in class right up to the day I did that audition tape for them. I was working on Bernie Mac, and the guy Ken Quapis went over to do The Office. And I heard about it, and my gut said, "Ask me if you can get on the show." And he said, "Well, I talked to Greg. I told him you were, a funny, talented musician and stuff. We wasn't sure how you were. As I think I know you're an interesting guy. I said we can put you in the background and see what happens." And he said, "I will try to work you into the mix," but there was no promises. So after a few weeks, I wrote out this whole character development with a backstory for myself, what would happen, and I submitted to him. And then the second season, they threw a 6.5-page scene with Steve Carell, the Halloween episode, on my desk. As they say, hey, the rest is history, Mike.
Yeah, and it ended up great. Now you said,
"Oh my God!"
So that advice you would give to actors, and let's switch to music for a second. Would you give that same advice to musicians? Because, like you said, you were in the grassroots. You experienced the very
Right.
highs of music, the music business in the '60s when things were just exploding everywhere. Would you give that same advice to musicians starting out?
I'd give that to anybody because I believe, and this sounds like a Lala LA character, but this is any kind of therapy that you go through, any kind of stuff that philosophy you study. The subconscious knows what's going on, knows what the right thing is for you, but your mind has got these formulas and patterns that it wants to stick to, but if you get out of your way and you stay and you get in that moment, the little voice will tell you, or a big voice. Could be a bigger voice. Could be a voice with an accent. Mine has kind of a lisp. My little voice has a little lisp, which is interesting. It's charming. I don't begrudge him or her or whoever it is. It's a neuter voice that talks to you.
I think my inner voice mumbles, and I can't quite make out what it's saying, and that's been my whole
There
life.
you-
I have a
well,
problem with that.
That's the thing with song lyrics. Sometimes if you write out a music or you have a melody and stuff, and then it's like on the other side of the veil, there's this. Hey, what? You try what? You trying to write it down, and you're writing it on the paper. But after about a week or so, the words will start to come into focus, and you'll say, "Oh, I know what that is. I know what that word is."
And just like you said, you just got to stick with it.
People say, you go and you write these songs. Well, you do. You write things down, but many times you write one verse or one verse in the chorus, and then the work. Then you've got to sit there and craft for weeks to get the song. And it says, "Oh, he just wrote it like that." Well, occasionally it happens that way, but not all the time.
Before you were in the grassroots, you were already, I would say, a seasoned veteran of the road and making music. You went to I like to think of this as probably what people think of the '60s experience. I guess you like flew over to Europe, you played guitar
I
in the
actually
street.
got on a freighter. I got on a freighter.
Oh, you got a freighter, even
New
better.
Orleans. Took a freighter. Took 28 days.
Oh God.
And I woke up in the St. Mark's Square in Venice, covered. Woke up in the morning. I'd been drunk with a bunch of kids running through the streets playing guitar, and I woke up covered with pigeon in the middle of St. Mark's Square. It's just like, welcome to Europe. No joke. It's like, honest to God truth.
Wow.
But it was the best experience. And then I met these two guys in Munich, and we were over 2 years traveling all over Europe, all over North Africa, the Middle East, Beirut, all the way to Israel. And then I went all the way through the old Romania now. It was Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and then back through the East Germany, when East Germany existed, through the gate.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had been traveling. I'd been playing guitar professionally since I was 17. I started at a young age. I played trumpet for years, and I was a drama major. I've always done both. I've always played music and done both. But once I started playing guitar, that was kind of like, okay, I feel at home here playing this instrument. So I've stuck with that one. I play piano a little bit, but certainly not like guitar.
When you were now, tell me if this is true or not. I heard a story that when you were playing a show, I think it was in either Libya or Tunisia, you and the other two guys you were talking about were attacked by a pack of wild dogs and almost died.
That's
is that
true.
Is that true?
That's
really?
True. That's honest to God truth. We were in Libya playing the Wadan Hotel. At that time, the expats and stuff. There's a lot of discontent and political upheaval happening at the time. The oil people were leaving Libya at that time. We just arrived. We hitchhiked from across from Tangiers, all the way across. Sleeping on the side of the road. I slept a couple nights on the other side of the road without food once. In Algeria. Oh yeah, it was crazy. Well, it was scary stuff.
Yeah.
But still, you're in your 20s, Mike, and you don't feel anything's
right.
going to happen.
You feel invincible.
You do. You feel invincible. So we were coming back from the show, and we took a little train from the down parts of Tripoli, where the hotel was, and we were staying with this family that worked for the oil company. They had that place out where around the guarded community. So we were walking up this dirt road late at night after the show, and all these when the expats left, they left all their dogs. And it's cruel, but they did. So the dogs had nothing to eat, so they gang up in packs. And we were warned about them, but they came at us one night, and we put our backs back, and we used our instruments. We were kicking and batting them with our instruments.
Jesus.
And we just kicked until ow, ow, ow. And I love dogs, but we were fighting for our lives. So we were kicking hard.
Oh my God.
And they finally ran off a couple of, and I did. And I thought I would be kicking, and I'd see the dog go wham, and then I'm sorry, bam, but I kick him just as hard the second time because I'm sorry.
Yeah, you don't want to be
love
dinner.
Dogs, but no, and that's exactly what was on the agenda.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they were taking other dogs up. Who knows if they've got any smaller people? Who knows? I did notice some people there were missing a few fingers and toes. So I thought maybe it was the dogs. Maybe it was the dogs.
So let's jump ahead. You come back. You get involved with the Grassroots, and you did some big tours. You toured with the Doors. Did you guys tour with Hendrix?
We did a show. We did Devonshire Downs with Hendrix.
Okay.
We toured with the Beach Boys, Cream.
Wow.
We play up at the Fillmore all the time.
So
we played with probably every group that was out there at the time in the '60s. I can't think of anybody except for the Beatles, the Stones, obviously.
Yeah.
But they did have opening acts.
Since you played the Fillmore, you probably had the deal with Bill Graham. So let me ask you this: what is more challenging, fighting off a pack of wild dogs in Tripoli or dealing with Bill Graham?
Oh, I think the dogs in an instant.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure, that's a piece of cake.
Because he has a reputation, man. I mean, he's a legendary promoter, and he got a lot of things going. But from all stories I've heard, he was a bear to deal with. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have to do the business stuff with him, but he was an intimidating guy, and I don't think he liked me that much, actually, to be very honest. But that's neither here nor there, Mike.
Well, let's talk about the gig at the City Winery. So you're going to be playing your music, and you have, geez, do you have like 8 or 9 solo albums?
I'm just right when I get there on the 17th. I will be this week. Hopefully, my tenth solo album will be coming out.
Oh, wow. What's this one called?
It's Dowel Pop, TAOPOP, Dowel
Oh,
Pop.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I definitely, without trying to blow smoke up, if it was asked, I definitely think this is my best album for sure. The songs came really, in the right way. We got together and we all had so much fun recording it. And my producers Dave Way and Dylan O'Brien. We're all in sync. We always are. Sometimes you just feel like the songs are being taken care of in a good way. You don't have to work. You have to push so hard. It's the song. The song tells you what it wants to do.
Yes. Yeah.
So we serve the song. Sometimes you're trying to make a silk purse out of Sal's ear. It wasn't this case on this album. It never really is, but really less so on this album. Because
Okay.
I know people get in the studio and they just sit there and go, well, they don't have a clue sometimes. They're trying to shove stuff in there to make it work. This was not the case. It came pretty easy.
So at the City Winery, you'll have a band with you. It's not just you acoustic.
No, absolutely not. Just me acoustic.
Just you acoustic. Okay. So, and then
I've done this for years. Yeah, I tell stories. I tell my time on The Office and the grassroots. So it's kind of like half. I wouldn't say stand up, but it's half Mark Twainy. Samuel Clemens. The old philosopher, like
right. That's cool. So you talk a little bit about The Office. There's things about it's so confusing, and it's not confusing. It's just such a mystery. You did such a great job at creating the mystery of Creed Bratton, the person and the character, and it's hard to tell what stories came from your real life and which ones that you came up with. Like the cult, like that line about I've been a cult leader and a follower. It's more fun being a follower than a leader. But is that a real thing, or is that something you came up with?
Yeah. What's the statute of limitations on thievery? People look at that character and they think that I came on high and just said whatever was on my mind. And I take that as a compliment because I've worked so many years studying acting, so many years working on timing and stuff like that, because I've always known I could make people laugh. So when they say that I'm doing that, this doesn't show. They can't see the work. They can't see the work behind it. Truly, 95% of The Office was scripted. People think we ad-libbed a lot. We didn't really.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to the job the whole cast did. They made it seem so natural.
And the writing.
The
writing.
Yes, absolutely.
If you can't say those lines and make them seem natural,
right,
then no matter how good of an actor you are, it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one more line from The Office I need to check with you. Have you ever had to explain blood on your clothing to anyone in real life?
Almost on any given, that's a normal Friday, but almost on any given day, there's a little splatter around somewhere, whether it's shaving, whether it's God knows what, from I don't know. I just like something to keep in mind, the black ops, the wet work. I just got to keep my eye in once in a while, so I can get, if the show came back, I won't be shy jumping back in it again.
So you, if they came to you and they said, "Hey, we're gonna do a spinoff of The Office, or a continuation, or even a reboot of some sort," you would be cool with participating in that?
I think Creed would be cool. I would have to ask him, but I think he would be up for it. Yeah.
So at the end of the last at the season finale, you go off and with the police. So would Creed have broken out of jail at that point, or
he wouldn't even probably made it into the booking area? He somehow had been gone long before that. He was too sly. You'd see him, he'd turn on a dime. That guy,
All right. Well, Creed Bratton, thank you so much for taking the time. You're at the
my
City
pleasure,
Winery.
Mike.
City Winery,
Yep.
January 17th. That's next Wednesday. You know, something other, one more thing before I let you go.
Yep.
You mentioned when we started talking, you still, I'm paraphrasing it, you still don't really know who you are. And I hear that a lot in your music. I listen to Slightly Altered, and I kind of hear
Yep.
that you're still a guy who's searching.
I think everybody's searching, aren't we? Though, aren't human beings searching? All of us to find out why we're here. I mean, that's kind of like the big question, isn't it? The existential elephant in the room.
I
Kind of, yeah.
I think that's inspiring because people that are of your age are usually like, I got it all down now. I'm just going to take a rest. I'm not going to try anymore or anything. But listening to your music, it still seems like you're like still kind of you're digging in the dirt or you're just looking to the future. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's
Oh,
great. That's
thanks.
a good message.
I think that it's kind of ludicrous. I think the more you read and the more I meditate, the more I study and dwell on the philosophy things, the less I realize, the less I know. And I think that's with people that I admire. We have that in common too. That I feel sometimes that you just start realizing that human beings don't have a fucking clue.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true. More than others.
We went last night with my producer to my friends with Jerry Harrison, Talking Heads.
Oh, wow.
And he invited me over they did a big new IMAX version of Stop Making Sense.
Yes, I saw that in Boston. Unbelievable.
And
Yeah.
oh my God, it was so great. But you think about that line, "Stop making sense." Just that line alone, that's a great line. That's it. That's exactly. I wish I had written that line. It's a good one.
Well, could you steal that from the Talking Heads and make that the title of your memoirs?
I think Jerry. I think it might strain our friendship a little.
All right. Hey, Creed, thank you so
All right,
much,
man.
man. I appreciate it. Looking forward to see you at City Winery Wednesday the 17th, man. Thanks a lot. Good luck on the tour,
yeah,
man.
thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.